In this video, we are testing the HotRC CT-8A. This is a budget controller that has a built-in gyro in the receiver, and we've seen something like it before. The RoadsideRC company is the one who also rebranded this as their own controller. So I'm very curious, can this controller work on an RC drift car? I have the Kyosho Phaser D2 here, and I believe one of the best things to do to this car, potentially, is to get rid of this factory controller. Throw that thing away and replace it with something that has better control and communication to the car. So we're going to test this controller in this rear-wheel drive drift car today in this video to see how good is it and what does it take to get it set up for drifting. If you are new to the channel, welcome. My name is Troy. This is RoadsideRC. You'll tend to find me bashing or crawling or drifting or racing, plus doing product review videos and how-tos. Let's get started by getting this controller out of the box. Ah, yes, that controller looks very, very familiar, but we'll get to that here in just a second. And here is a AA battery adapter so that you can use that to power the car. Here is a cable that you can use to hook it up to your computer, or updating of the software, that kind of thing. That is what this is for. It comes with a little fancy-dancy strap that you can click on right here. And here is the FO8AT receiver, 8-channel receiver. And it comes with a little quick start guide, which is super duper helpful, especially when you flip it over here and you got the language that you need. And now onto the controller itself. This is, I mean, from a form and function, the exact controller that they had for the many of the RoadsideRC vehicles. Ooh, I have a little protective screen. The good news about a controller like this is it's super budget friendly, 8 channels, lots of different switches and things like that you can work with. So, you know, whether you're working with a crawler, whether you're working with a drift car or a basher, this really does work at a fraction of the price of many other controllers. Like we said, it can be powered by multiple things. Oh, look at this! I didn't know that. Oh, look at that, is awesome. Oof. 18650 cell can go in there, so if you have a bunch of those laying around, you can power the controller with it. This one even comes with a little 2S LiPo. Oh, that is awesome. And again, like I said, if you want to run AA's instead, you can do that. So you can, for some reason. Oh yeah, look at us. All right, I'm assuming rolly wheel says I want English. We're gonna press this. Okay. When installing the receiver in the car, you're just looking for some flat spot for it to go. Multiple locations here would work. This is where the factory receiver was in this car, is right here in the center. I'm going to put it right back there, but I'm going to move it over a little bit here because what I want is to leave room, just in case the internal gyro in this does not work very well. I want to leave room for a proper gyro to sit here next to it. We're going to get some double-sided tape. It does not come with this from the factory with the receiver. Cut a little piece and we're going to stick it on over here. So channel 2 here is the ESC. And channel 1 is the steering. They provide a little handy-dandy guide right here that says your signal wire, which is your white, is on the inside, followed by your positive, and then your negative on the outside. Just like that, we are in good shape. Let's go grab the battery for the controller and the car, and let's make sure this thing fires up. We have the battery in the car. Power both of them on. Hit this button once. It brings you into the different menus under here. We then come down to 4 out of 5, which is radio. You go to pairing and you have the ability to start it there on the receiver. There's a little bind button right on top. Bloop, bloop the bind button, hit the start button. They connect together without any kind of concerns. The power button is the back menu. And now I have throttle, I have brake, and I have reverse. Now, typically, you're going to need to calibrate your controller to your ESC. In this situation, the ESC doesn't have any calibration. It just is what it is. Steering, right is right, left is left, so that is good. We do need to set the endpoint so that we don't fry the gyro, but that is something that we'll work on here in just a second. A couple things that I do like about this controller, it will take up to 8 different models, so you can bind a bunch of different cars to it, and the receivers are dirt cheap. Under the channel menu, you do have range, so you can actually set endpoints on all the different channels as you need. Under phase, that is reverse. Pros and cons is reversing the channels, so the language there is a little bit funny, but that's what that means. Fine tuning is trimming any one of the channels as you need. Remapping is when you want to change one of the channels to one of the different switches. So as an example, right now, channel 3 is on switch A, which is this one right here, and it is just kind of an on-off. We're not going to want to plug a gyro into that or switch B. We're going to want those into some other button here later. Under mix setup, we can control mixing. We can control programming, so if you're going to be tank driving, if you're going to be four-wheel steering, it has some of that stuff in here. Linearity I like. This is exponential, so a lot of times on a drift car on the throttle side, I like to put some exponential in my throttle, and so here's where we can do that. All right, under radio, option 4 or 5 is we get to control. Under control is where we have gyro. Gyro is currently off. We're going to hit the button once to turn it on. And now we have gyro in the car. All right, I tested a little bit off camera, and I got the gyro sensitivity down to about 20%, anti-shake on to 100, and honestly, the car started to drive really, really well. Like, whatever the design is of their gyro in here is actually pretty good, and a whole lot better than the factory Kyosho gyro, except for one absolute fatal flaw. So of course, when I pick up the rear of the car and move it this way, the front should counter steer towards me, right? So this tire should turn towards me. So if I'm on the throttle just a little bit, it's not very sensitive right now, but you can see that's what it's doing, right? It's steering, it's counter steering the direction that I would need it to go. If I hit the brake, like a lot of the times, you'll go into a corner and you'll hit a brake. Watch now. It's backwards. Oh my gosh, it is backwards. I don't know. I actually asked when Larlo was partnering with HotRC to make the controller for their cars. And what they said was that they had people who were complaining that when you went to back up on a basher, that the steering would shake and that the gyro would make it, the gyro would act funny and make the car turn around. If you've ever driven a drift car, you know gyros don't like to go in reverse. So what they did is they changed the core programming in the controller so that it would do that. So unfortunately for this, what this means is that we need to come up here and turn this gyro off. And even though the actual gyro function in the car is actually pretty dang good, they've ruined it by the fact that whenever you hit the brakes, the gyro reverses. So that means the controller so far does all the controlling things that we need it to do. We just need to stick on our own gyro. Now, I mounted the Futaba GYD 550, which is one of my favorite gyros. You will have to, obviously, depending on what gyro you choose, you will have to set it up as it suggests within your instructions. If you are interested in this GYD 550, I have a whole different video that I can leave down in the video description. I can leave a link to it down there how you can get in, how you can get it set up. So the first thing you have to do is, of those 8 channels, you have to choose one. Now, I looked, and switch A is just a momentary on-off. Switch B is a 3 position. I guess technically that could work. But A, B, C, D down here, 5, 6, 7, and 8 are all different channels that you can assign to up here on these buttons. So it turns out for me, channel 6 is C right here. So I plugged in the gyro gain into channel 6. You then just come in and go to the range under the channel section. You go to range, and then underneath here you can actually change the gyro gain by just limiting the endpoint of that channel. Also, what's fun here is that it does have positive and negative. For most Futaba gyros, one side having positive and one side having negative means that you can actually control the AVCS on-off in that Futaba gyro, and that is what this is letting me do here. And on this side, the gyro does the gyro things that we want. Car goes out, car drives beautifully. Let's give it a couple laps around the garage here to show you. Of course, the drift cart is in the way from being able to make super clean laps, but again, car driving beautifully with a super budget radio. Look at that. I mean, this thing's like 50 bucks, 8 channels, came with a little lipo to charge it, to run it, and it'll work in a drift car just like that. You can control up to 8 vehicles, you can control a gyro gain. You don't have to spend super big money in order to do good. Honestly speaking, will something like a Futaba or a FlySky Noble be better than this in the long run? Yes, 100%. I genuinely believe that. But for so many of you out there that are trying to get started on a budget, this is one other alternative that could really, really be good for you. If you are looking at getting into RC drifting and you are curious about this control, I will leave a link to it down in the video description. If you have any questions about what I did or how I tested this or how I set it up with a gyro, please leave them down in the comments and I will try to help you out in any way that I can. Now, if you are curious about other RC drift tech kind of things that I have tested over time, there'll be some playlists popping up over here to your right, and I hope to see you in one of those videos. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.